Okay, let's dive into this. If you're an E6 trying to pick up E7, listen up, because the game has fundamentally changed from how you ranked up earlier in your career. Welcome to our explainer on absolutely everything staff sergeants need to know about the promotion process. I am so incredibly pumped to break this down for you today, because honestly, the difference between picking up Sergeant First Class and getting passed over often comes down to simply understanding the mechanics we're about to cover. Let's get right into it. So here is our roadmap for the explainer. We're going to cover the transition to the SSG board, the reality that the board only knows your records, finding that all-important MILPER message, certifying my board file, and finally, how to truly own your Army career.
All right, part 1, transition to the SSG board. Let's talk about the big shift in how these promotions actually operate.
You remember early on in your career, right? Going from spec to sergeant or sergeant to staff sergeant, you had that local promotion board. You put on your dress uniform, knocked on the door, marched in, did your facing movements, and practically sweated out the NCO creed in front of a bunch of senior NCOs. Well, for E6 to E7, all that completely disappears. Instead, the Army uses what's called a Staff Sergeant Evaluation Board. It is totally centralized. There is no marching in, no facing movements, no standing in detention in front of your command sergeant major. So what does this big centralized board actually do? It builds this, the Order of Merit List, or OML. Basically, they review your official Army record and rack and stack you against your peers. And this is absolutely crucial, because where you land on that specific OML directly dictates whether you get promoted to Sergeant First Class, based entirely on what the Army's requirements are right now. It literally determines your future. Which brings us to Section 2, the board only knows records. This is a massive reality check. Look, here is the hard truth. The board does not know you personally. Let that sink in for a second. They don't know that you stayed late in the motor pool for 3 weeks straight. They have no idea that you single-handedly put the team on your back during that last rotation. They didn't see you mentoring struggling soldiers or fixing broken unit systems or being the absolute go-to NCO in your formation. They don't see your daily grind. They only see the paperwork. And this brilliantly illustrates why that's so dangerous. If your official record is missing an NCOR, missing an award, or missing a school, the board physically cannot see the full picture of your career. To them, if it is not in black and white in your file, it simply didn't happen. An incomplete record doesn't just look bad, it actively torpedoes your promotion chances. All right, Section 3, finding the MILPER message. Before you start freaking out about your records, let's talk about the very first actionable step you've got to take. Listen to me closely here, because this is where so many NCOs get derailed. Do not rely on rumors. Do not rely on screenshots. Do not rely on what some guy said in the group chat. You have to find and read the actual official MILPER message. The rumor mill, that's just going to feed you bad dates and wrong eligibility criteria. The MILPER tells you exactly who is eligible and gives you the exact marching orders for this year's board. That MILPER outlines the specific timeline you need to live by. Usually, HRC publishes it once a year. Historically speaking, recent SSG evaluation boards have kicked off in that January to February timeframe. But the MILPER gives you the specific critical milestones, when the file officially opens for you to look at it, the actual convene date, and that hard, non-negotiable close date when the file completely locks. You've got to verify those exact dates for the current year. Moving on to Section 4, certifying my board file. This is honestly the most crucial and the most misunderstood part of this whole shebang. Let's get our terminology straight. Your board file lives inside the Army Selection Board System, or ASBS. Inside ASBS, you have My Board File. Think of My Board File as a digital filing cabinet. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a viewing window. That's exactly what it is, a window where you can look in, review, and certify what the board is going to see. Your job is to look through the glass and certify it, but it is not a fix-it shop. So that begs the big question. If My Board File is just a viewing window, how on earth do you fix a missing award or a messed up evaluation when you spot it? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it separates the problem from the solution. On one side, you've got the viewing window, My Board File. You don't just type in fixes there. On the other side, you have the source systems. Missing an award? That gets fixed in iPerms. Evaluation is wrong? That goes through EES and HRC. Personnel data is messed up? You're working with your S1 to fix it in IPPSA. The source systems feed the window. You have to fix the source. Now, there is a strict exception to this rule. Please do not try to upload random missing certificates directly into my board file. Again, those go through the proper channels. The only document you normally upload directly into my board file is a letter to the board. And honestly, you only do that if you actually need one to explain something highly specific. Everything else, IPERMS, EES, or IPPSA.
So here is your basic battle drill. Step 1, find the current MILPER message. Step 2, confirm you're actually eligible. Step 3, verify all those board dates. Step 4, log into My Board File. And Step 5, carefully check your record against your actual real-world career.
And when I say check your record, I mean an aggressive cross-reference. Check your NCOERs, your awards, your DA 1059s. Verify your assignments. Hunt down your badges, tabs, ASIs, and SQIs. Go down the line of your civilian and military education. You are looking for absolutely anything that should be in your official record but isn't. Which brings us to our final section. Own your Army career. Because look, none of this mechanical stuff matters if you don't take absolute personal ownership of the process. Here is the absolute biggest mistake soldiers make. They wait until the board file is about to close before they even glance at it. No way. You should be checking your record months before the board. When my board file opens, that is your final quality control check, not the starting line. If you're waiting until the open date to start fixing things, you are way behind the power curve. And just to clear something up, certifying your board file early does not mean updates just freeze. If a correction is made in IPERMS after you click certify, those updates can still flow right in. But please do not use that as an excuse to procrastinate. Fix your record early, check it, certify it, and then just keep checking it until that file officially closes. At the end of the day, you are the one responsible for your record. Yeah, your squad leader can help, your platoon sergeant can coach you, first sergeant can guide you, the S1 can assist, but you are the one being evaluated. If something's missing, don't just throw your hands up and say, well, S1 messed me up. Get the source documents, take screenshots if you need to, and drive the correction process yourself. Treat your record like it matters because it absolutely does. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought today. The board isn't judging your intentions. They aren't grading you on what you meant to upload. They are looking at the official record that actually exists. So you have to ask yourself, before the Army makes a decision on your promotion, does your official record actually show the career you built? Get the basics right, take ownership, and make absolutely sure that that answer is yes. All right, thanks for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.